Nicole Beauvais and Donte Mirren's story starts long before it should have. Last fall, Nicole's first pregnancy seemed to be moving along perfectly.
In fact, it was a very easy pregnancy. I was running, I was doing races as late as Thanksgiving.
Donte is from Chicago, where the couple had planned to stay to live and work while welcoming their new baby due in the spring.
And so Monday I saw my doctor in Chicago, and she said everything looked good. I had an ultrasound, all was well. We flew to Minnesota and came here for the holiday.
I remember going back to look at those actual pictures. Everything was like a normal Christmas day.
Normal until on that Christmas, Nicole started to have pain she'd never experienced before. As a physician's assistant, Nicole thought some yoga and massage would be enough to work it all out. But a phone call to her OB back in Chicago the next morning changed her mind.
She told me to go to the emergency room, and I didn't want to because I felt like it was the holidays and I didn't want to burden the doctors, here. And she said, no, you have to go. And I said, okay. I mean, I'm a rule follower, so I did what she said.
Nothing could prepare her for the news that the ER doctor would deliver next.
And she said, actually, Nicole, this is labor. And I have to tell you, I never once thought that it was labor. Why would you be in labor at 23 weeks gestation when everything had been completely normal?
That's where it really started to hit home. We didn't know if they both were going to make it.
Nicole was just 23 weeks pregnant. An ambulance raced them to Children's Hospital in Minneapolis, where Nicole's water broke just minutes after being admitted.
And Nolan was born 29 minutes after that. From the time we left to go to the emergency room and when he was born, it was about 2.5 hours.
Little Nolan arrived 4 months early, weighing just 1.5 pounds and measuring just 12 inches long. Nurses would dress him in diapers the size of a saltine.
His little hand, his hand and feet were that big on top of my pinky.
They said the prognosis was fairly guarded, that he was in critical condition, but that we were at the best hospital actually in the United States for outcomes for babies born his gestational age.
Nolan's eyes were still fused shut. He had a tube in his throat to be able to breathe, and his skin was essentially see-through. Unsure of his future, Nicole and Donte were asked by doctors if they wanted to continue medical support.
But that's, again, I think something no parent ever wants to face. And I just couldn't imagine being the one to decide it wasn't his place to be here. He decided he wanted to be here. There must be some reason. And so we determined that this was Nolan's course and Nolan's journey, and he would let us know kind of how things were going to go.
It seemed Nolan decided he'd fight from day one.
He was already kicking and already doing push-ups, his second day on Earth. So we knew he was going to be tough.
Tough little boy. Tough little boy.
And soon Nicole and Donte would discover strength to help them cope through Ronald McDonald House charities.
They've helped in ways we can't even probably define.
For 10 days, they were welcomed into the house inside the hospital, one of just 5 programs like it in the world, located just steps away from Children's Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, where Nolan kept up his fight. Nicole and Donte had one of the 16 private rooms at the house inside the hospital. That's more than 8,500 square feet.
Being 30 minutes away or 60 minutes away even, that's too far when you've got a child who's that critically ill and anything can happen.
Next, they made the move to the Ronald McDonald House's cornerstone program, Oak Street.
It was our home. This place was literally our home.
It's already so stressful. To take away some of that is invaluable.
Private rooms to sleep and shower, a place to do laundry, and even eat healthy meals, all served by selfless volunteers.
We couldn't believe that people were giving up their time to feed us. So probably our first week there, we cried at every meal.
I would have never thought that I needed something like this. And what the Ronald McDonald House allows and gives to families is the ability not to worry about things you don't have time to worry about when you've got a sick kid.
Yeah. Oh, get those hands.
Might you smile?
Get those hands. Get those hands.
After almost 5 months, Nicole and Donte were finally able to take their baby boy home. Nolan is 9 months old now and about as handsome and happy as they come.
And you know we're not doing
The family decided to relocate from Chicago to stay close to Nolan's medical team and Nicole's family in Minnesota. And they also feel good about being able to pop back in to see all the friends they made at Ronald McDonald House. Donte is an artist and donated 2 of his pieces to the houses with the hope they bring a brief break to other families facing such difficult circumstances.
We walked up and down those hallways a lot, and we stared at a ton of paintings, and I tell you what, it takes your mind off of what's going on. We're friends of Ronald McDonald House forever, so anyone else that's associated with the Ronald McDonald House, absolutely, we're tied in forever.
Nolan may be home now, but his fight is far from over. He suffered a significant brain bleed at birth and has gone through 4 different surgeries to try to correct any damage. Still, his future is uncertain. Doctors have said Nolan could develop like any other boy or suffer even more severe problems.
That, I think, is one of the most difficult parts of the journey, is just not knowing. Because if you know, you can prepare for it on a lot of different levels. But when you don't know, your mind often goes to the worst place, I think.
But Nicole and Donte have learned from their little fighter to fight on, convinced there's a reason little Nolan was in such a hurry to get here.
My hope is that he's happy. I think hopefully that's every parent's hope, you know, and that he can understand how many people helped him so much along the way. So, yeah.